Hey guys, SeibenLore here, bringing you more Magic the Gathering lore. So yesterday, Wizards of the Coast spoiled a new planeswalker for their Commander 2014 set. That of course, being Nixilis of the Black Oath. Now, I'm not typically a Commander player, but I was still excited to see this, as many other players were. They finally gave us Nixilis as a planeswalker. I'm aware that many of you out there don't really understand this guy's story, so that's why I decided to go over his lore. But I also feel that this change could possibly impact the ongoing storyline found in Magic, so this video will also include some theory crafting. With all that out of the way, let's begin. Not much is known about Nixilis' origins. We know only that he is a planeswalker and a conqueror of worlds. He delights in the subjugation of others and truly follows his alignment of black mana. He traveled from plane to plane, taking over completely and stealing anything he deemed useful for his next expedition. With each world that fell to his heel, he grew in power and confidence. Yet, he was not as invincible as his victories would suggest. As it turned out, his greatest weakness was his own arrogance. Through the blind eternities, Nixilis heard rumors of a powerful artifact which could enhance the magical abilities of its wielder 10 times over. This artifact was the Chain Veil. Before it was obtained by the vengeful Liliana Vess, the Chain Veil sat quietly in its tomb found on the plain of Chandalar. Only few knew of its location, and even fewer were power-hungry enough to go after it. Nixilis just so happened to be the right mix of crazy and power-driven to seek out the Chain Veil. His journey was successful, but the fruits of his travels were not as sweet as he wished. The second his hands touched the cursed veil, a powerful blast of black mana encapsulated the planeswalker and brought the self-proclaimed conqueror to his knees. Only after he begged for death did the Chain Veil finally ease the assault. Upon returning to this world, Nixilis knew that he had made a grave error in judgment. His form was altered. His body and mind were warped and twisted. He could no longer even recognize his own hands. The Chain Veil's power had rebounded onto the wielder rather than being commanded by him. Nixilis had been transformed into a demon. Fearing what further use the Chain Veil would do to his form, Nixilis left the crumbling tomb. At first glance, being a demon may have its perks. Nixilis was now immortal. He had no need to concern himself with such things as aging or illness. He also obtained great physical strength, and a sporty set of wings. Not too shabby. But Nixilis did not gain comfort from this. He was obsessed with ending his curse and restoring his original form. We are unsure why exactly he wishes to regain his humanity, only that he would like to sleep again, and as a demon, he can never sleep. At this point, it is clear that Nixilis is still technically a planeswalker. He can sense mana sources, and has the ability to travel through the blind eternities to different planes. But this is not 100% confirmed because many other demons who are not planeswalkers also have similar abilities. In any case, the now demonized Nixilis sought out the plane of Zendikar. He sensed that this plane had unending sources of mana, which could provide him with the power to remove his curse. After arriving on Zendikar, he did what any true conqueror would. He began to kill everything in sight. He found the humans on this plane to be weak and cowardice, not even willing to put up a fight. And while he enjoyed killing the primitive elves, he found that their will to fight didn't make up for the fact that they had brittle bones. He rather enjoyed crushing goblins beneath his heel, but eventually he grew annoyed by the noises they made as they died. To Nixilis, Zendikar was a boring plane which offered him no enjoyment, and so he went about his original purpose on the plane, to collect mana to reverse his curse. He would never obtain the mana needed for this feat, however, for he was soon tracked down and confronted by the self-appointed protector of Zendikar, Nahiri. Nahiri is a core and a very talented fighter. She is bound by a code to protect the plane from any and all threats of a foreign nature. Nixilis definitely falls under that category, and so, he had to be dealt with. Nahiri was quick. The demon didn't even see her coming. It was over before it even really began. With one simple strike, the core implanted a Hedron stone into Nixilis' forehead. The Hedrons, powerful stones crafted from the essence of mana, all had different properties. The one now stuck in the demon's head was forged from white mana. The Hedron stripped Nixilis of his tough demon skin and eroded his wings until they were useless and fell off. The Hedron had cured him of his curse. But Nixilis did not rejoice. The stone bound him to the plane of Zendikar, taking away his spark and all of his powers. Not only this, but the stone also did nothing to cure his demonic appearance. Ob Nixilis was again cursed to forever live on a plane he hated as a small, frail, weak imp. Obviously, this was not ideal, and as rage filled his mind, he decided to free himself one way or another. Over the centuries, he gathered what knowledge he could on the Hedrons, learning more about them than any other being besides the Lithomancer who created them. He began to plot his escape from his personal prison. He sensed that other planeswalkers would sometimes travel to Zendikar seeking its rich mana sources, and they were his way out. Ob Nixilis would confront these visitors with an introduction to the plane, offering them knowledge and directions if they needed it. He played the role of a weak and stupid being who only wanted to help others, and he played this role well. One young and arrogant planeswalker finally took his bait. He told the youngster about the powerful gem in his forehead, and blinded with greed, the planeswalker attacked the demon. This is exactly what Ob Nixilis wanted, and he put up only enough fight to make it seem convincing. Eventually the planeswalker defeated the demon and removed the Hedron from his head. He sat there for a while, slowly regaining his former power. His skin toughened, his strength returned, and his wings regrew. The curse returned to Ob Nixilis, but he was still unable to leave the plane. He was a planeswalker no longer. Relieved by his returned strength, Ob Nixilis now seeks to regain his spark. He believes that the only way this is possible is for the entire plane of Zendikar to be destroyed. He follows the emergence of the Eldrazi on the plane carefully, admiring their ability to kill. He wishes to one day control an army as powerful as the Eldrazi, but for now, he waits for them to destroy the plane so that his spark can return to him. Using his knowledge of the Hedrons, he finds a mysterious green orb which seems to have unlimited healing properties. Its use is currently unknown. So, there you have it guys, everything we know about Ob Nixilis up to this point. So now let's go into theory crafting mode. Remember, these are not facts, but just my idea of what may be going on in the storyline. Okay, so Ob Nixilis said that the only way he can remove his curse and become a planeswalker again is for the plane of Zendikar to be utterly destroyed. So since he is now a human planeswalker again, we can only assume that either Zendikar has been completely destroyed, or he has found some other way to break the curse. Also, Ob Nixilis has a deep knowledge of the Hedrons, saying he is the only one who understands their true purpose as a powerful weapon which can be used against the Eldrazi. I believe there is a connection to be made between Ob Nixilis and the Hedrons used to imprison the Eldrazi in the first place. If you recall, Soren Markov is on a journey to re-imprison the Eldrazi after they escaped as a result of his error. He has traveled to the plane of Hakir to find one of the other original planeswalkers who imprisoned the Eldrazi, Ujin, only to discover that he had been killed long ago. So now Soren needs to find the unnamed Lithomancer who originally created the Hedrons used to imprison the Eldrazi. This is where I believe Ob Nixilis could come into play. He already has all of the knowledge of the Hedrons which Soren could use to fashion a weapon to finally defeat them forever. I believe the story could go something like this. Soren finds Ujin dead, and the unnamed Lithomancer is unreachable for one reason or another. He eventually gets into contact with the now human planeswalker Ob Nixilis, who work out some deal and form an alliance. Using their abilities and Ob Nixilis' knowledge of the Hedrons, they seek to destroy the Eldrazi brood. Ob Nixilis, being a conqueror and just overall a bad guy, is likely to betray Soren and use the Hedrons to subjugate the Eldrazi and bring them under his control. With this powerful army behind his back, Ob Nixilis becomes a force to be reckoned with, and the new big baddie for the story of Magic the Gathering. So, there you go, my theory of what may be going on in the lore of Magic the Gathering. Now, I could be completely wrong, but nevertheless, it is still interesting that Wizards of the Coast printed Ob Nixilis as a human planeswalker. In any case, let me know what you think about this demon turned human planeswalker, and how you believe it could impact the overall story of Magic. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and want to see more lore and theory in the future. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.